and welcome to Misfits on Vinyl. My name is Spencer Streichert. I am an actor, comedian, and one of your hosts.
My name is Aaron. I am also one of your hosts.
Aaron is also an actor.
Sometimes, yeah, you never know.
You never know. He might, maybe, potentially, be making his Calgary debut.
Not my debut, but my return.
Your return.
Yes.
Well, okay, but debut in that it's like not a school project.
That's true. I've done some non-school projects.
Okay, that's fair. We did that fucking really weird show that one time.
Yeah, and it was a storybook for a while.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
But, to be clear, it's only one region of my body is going to be in this scene.
It's his
behind
tuchus.
a hole in the wall.
Yeah. You're going to put your butthole up against the hole.
Yeah.
And then you fart, and that's the whole... It's performance art.
It's a good bit.
It's a good bit.
I've been working on it for the past 3 years.
Honestly, it's amazing. I didn't realize that you could fart on command until then.
It took time. It's like cue the Rocky montage. It took a lot of training, a lot of beans, quite a bit of beans. I've learned all the beans that ever were to exist.
Like kidney beans?
And pinto beans.
And pinto beans?
Yeah, some black beans.
Black beans? Red beans?
Yeah.
Red kidney beans?
Fava beans.
Some Heinz baked beans?
Yes.
Did you know that if you're making nachos, to not put Heinz baked beans on top of them?
You know what? I can't say I thought about that, but you know what? I would probably put two and two together. That wouldn't be the move.
I found that out during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I tried to make nachos for Siobhan, and I thought that putting baked beans on top of them in the oven.
I couldn't imagine living with you during the pandemic. That's horrendous. Poor Siobhan. Did her stomach ever recover?
I mean, I don't know if mine ever did.
No, I was gonna say Siobhan's just shaking her head over there. Yeah,
I will say this: I ate the whole fucking thing. I stubbornly was like, Yeah. That's true. Siobhan did as well. She was trying to be nice.
That's love, guys.
That is love.
Yeah.
Love is getting gastrointestinal problems.
Speaking of food,
yes.
I have a story for you.
Ooh.
So I ordered some Vietnamese food with Sarah, and we got a bunch of like other stuff, like appetizers. I was fucking full before I even got to my vermicelli. I was like, sweet, I got lunch tomorrow at work. Can't wait. So excited. I have like 75% of my vermicelli left in my takeout container. I was like, this is amazing. So I stick it in the fridge, go to bed. I wake up the next morning, and I'm going to grab my lunch, feed the cat, and I open the fridge, and vermicelli noodles flip over, and I have them all over my toes.
Oh, no.
And they were slimy from fish sauce and hoisin sauce. So I had fish sauce and hoisin sauce all over my toes, and I had to scoop the noodles up. I like scooped them back into the container and put the container back in the garbage. Of course, across my mind, I was like, "Can I still take it?" But I was like, probably not. Then I scooped it back in the container, and then I had to like wipe the floor. I was already running late for work, so I'm like going to wash my hands and then eventually wash my feet. And I look down, and my cat is sniffing my feet, like huffing my toes,
dude,
because of the fish sauce.
Your cat definitely thought I could probably eat this now.
Oh yeah, he was like fucking huffing my toes, and this was the noodles were long gone. They were just, there was just fish sauce remnants. But I was washing my hands, and I looked down, the cat's fucking huffing my toes.
That is so fucking funny.
So it was a little tragic. It was actually Friday morning. It was kind of a tough start to a Friday.
Yeah, fucking Fridays, am I right?
Fridays.
Fridays.
Somebody's got the case of the Fridays.
Someone's got a case of the Fridays. Fridays on my fleets.
But that's my little mishap in the kitchen this week.
Dude, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
I am so sorry.
It sucked. I was more like sad because like I literally like did out the percentage of how much Vietnamese food I had left. I was like, oh, there's so much left, like a good like 75%.
Oh man.
Yeah, I ate one shrimp skewer, and there was still all the beef, all the chicken, and all the noodles. And all the
so
vegetables
depressing.
Too. Yeah, it was depressing.
That's really fucking sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry to kill the vibe.
No, that's okay. I was trying to think of like interesting food I had this week or any food stories. Yesterday I had Dairy Queen. That was pretty
like food, not ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like I had a flamethrower burger.
Nice.
And then I ran into somebody that I knew, like there, like at the Dairy Queen. And as I was talking to them, my order came up and they were like, "Oh, you got the burger? I always just get nuggets." I was like, "Yeah, I like to have diarrhea later." And then I left, and then I realized I'm like, I don't know this person like well enough to make the normal comments that I make around my friends. So this person, the last thing that they've ever heard me say is, "Yeah, I like to have diarrhea later."
I mean, I feel like they do too because they knew what's the go-to at Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
So for non-dairy related products, yeah.
Which honestly, like, I would say that the flamethrower burger is dairy related.
Yeah, I guess there's cheese on
There's
it.
a lot of cheese. There's beef. Beef is a type of dairy.
They used to bring them in for when I was in high school. We used to have a TA lunch every week, right? Someone would have to bring in lunch, and so, like probably 2 or 3 times a year, someone would bring in Dairy Queen burgers because they were always 89 cents a burger, and it was like always burnt, always nasty.
Oh God.
Yeah, and the buns were always hard in places they shouldn't be hard in. Yeah.
Did you ever have like we used to have it because I went to a small town high school. We'd have like pizza or like hot dog days. Like there'd be like a barbecue day, so you'd bring like a fucking toonie.
No.
And you'd get a hot dog.
Nice.
And you'd fill it out beforehand, like a week before. You'd put in your order, and then they'd go and get all their fucking hot dogs. And the gym teacher would be out there like flipping fucking dogs.
Your high school is so small. It's probably like 1 pack of hot dogs.
It literally almost was
half a pound of beef.
except it was kindergarten to grade 12.
No, okay.
Yeah. I was in one of those schools.
Lots of options for prom.
Oh God. I mean, you're not far off though. That's because once you eliminate the people that you're related to, and that's only if you care enough about that.
Speaking of that, that's funny because I met this girl when I was living in Toronto. She was friends with my buddy's girlfriend. She was Icelandic.
Ooh.
And she showed me
The dating app?
the app that actually tells you if you're related or not. Yeah, she was showing us at the table. She was like, yeah, so like when I go back to Iceland, anytime you meet somebody, you like scan their QR code and it tells you if you're related or not.
Wow.
Yeah, man. What a
Dude,
what a time.
that's gotta be so fucking unfortunate too. Like
Well,
your options are limited.
Well,
You're
it's
like,
great if you find out you're related. You got a match.
That's
It's
true.
perfect.
But what if
no.
the only match that you have is Helga?
Yeah, it's true.
Helga.
I don't know if they name people Helga in
She's a
Iceland.
tough lady.
Yeah.
She comes out and hits the wood.
From Reykjavik.
Reykjavik.
I don't think there's a cl in there. I think it's just Reykjavik.
Reykjavik.
Yeah. We'll go with that. But anyways, yeah, they have to use this
Bjork.
dating app.
Bjork.
Yeah.
Bjork.
Dancer in the Dark.
I honestly could not tell you a single Bjork song.
No, I was actually named a movie she was in.
Ah.
Yeah. Lars von
I
Trier.
thought that Bjork was a man until right now. So I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, Bjork is a woman.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's a really great video of her punching a paparazzi. That's how, you can also look that up in your spare time, folks.
I definitely want to look that up now. Okay, before we get into, I have something special off the top here. But
you were
before
telling
we
me.
get into this, I just want to say a couple of things. I was in this weekend. I was in Okotoks on Friday night at Hubtown Brewing. I brought 60 stickers. And I ran out of all of them.
Amazing.
Like, everybody came up and was like, I'll fucking take a sticker. So, and if they didn't come up and say that, I was like, hey, do you want one? And they're like, yeah. And then they were like, oh, you have a podcast? I'm going to check that out. So,
Nice.
got some Okotoks fans.
Hopefully we have some new listeners. Hello,
Hello,
people from
Okotoks. I am Oka stoked on you. And then last night, I was at Rail Yard Brewing.
Nice.
And both these shows were with a friend of the show, Brittany Lysing.
Nice. Shout out, Brittany.
Shout out Brittany, and then also the amazing Lisa Baker, who I'm sure like people probably have seen her on TikTok. She's like she's a newfie woman that like goes on fucking rants on TikTok, and they're
Nice.
fucking hilarious.
Nice.
And she destroys people in the comments. Dude, she fucking killed. But when I got on stage in the front row, I recognized this dude. I was like, who the? I was like, oh shit. It was the guy. Do you remember like during the pandemic, there was a guy that got really big on TikTok for like, and his handle was Calgary Mayor Elect. Josh, yeah, dude.
I don't know.
Oh my god, he had the fucking best videos. He would call Jason Kenny Ken Babe, and like he'd Yeah, he was so fucking cool, and he like shit on everyone. Like
Nice.
he was honestly like he's like super fucking anti-bigot and stuff, and just like one of the funniest creators on the platform though. But so he was talking to us afterwards. And I was like, honestly, dude, like, I'm a huge fan. I'm like, I was like, I can't believe you, like, you threw me off when I saw you sitting in the front row, right? But he was like, apparently, he had to stop doing TikTok during the trucker convoy because he got doxxed.
No, not during the convoy.
Oh.
Like 3 weeks ago, he got sued, and in the lawsuit, like, his wife's name, his kid's name, his home address were in it on public record, which isn't supposed to happen, but the like lawsuit purposely put it in there.
Oh,
and
fuck.
People were going to his house, like egging it and shit, so he had to like get off social media, and he's moving right now.
Oh, fuck.
Damn, dude, that's
okay.
fucked up.
I did not know that part. I only knew that like he got I only knew that he got doxxed because they were apparently phoning like his work, and his work didn't care. They were like whatever, but then they started phoning his wife's work. And like threatening her at work, like
that's fucked up.
Yeah,
man.
death threats and shit. Like it's fucking insane. And like, yeah, so that's super fucked. But Josh said that he was gonna listen to the pod, so I wanted to give him a shout out. And also,
Shout out, Josh
is gonna come to Tea House at some point and do stand up, and I'm
Ooh,
super
that's
excited
cool.
about that.
That's
so
cool.
I was like, I like I said to him, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like you can come do whatever you want there. Like I was like, it would honestly be great. And like, yeah, I will kick anybody the fuck out who comes to cause problems. I don't give a shit.
That's so wild that people fucking go that far with shit. I can't imagine,
I'm pretty
man.
sure there's still a GoFundMe going because of his moving expenses, so we can link that.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. We'll absolutely do that because him and his wife are both super cool.
Nice.
And yeah, it was so funny because I was like it literally threw me off seeing them in the front row just because I was like. Fuck, and then it put a little bit of pressure on me because I was like, I gotta be really funny now, I was like, oh fuck, and it was like because I could only really see his face. Okay, before I'm gonna say it at the end of the episode too. Tickets for my tour, first date. May 13th in Invermere at Arrowwood Brewing. Tickets are on sale now. Tickets are already selling, so Invermere, get your tickets soon. If we sell out the one show, we'll probably add a second one.
Nice.
And so yeah, please help us sell it out. It's gonna be fun. Doing that one with Gabby Rose. Gabby's fucking hilarious,
Gabby is
and
funny.
Siobhan as well. Siobhan's gonna come. So it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be my first time back in Invermere since I lived there in 2006.
Throwback.
One
thing I wanted to say too, we were discussing internally about a really strong call to action. So call to action. If you guys have anything you want to see on the podcast, any albums you want us to review, message us on Instagram, email us, stalk us.
Yeah.
Carrier pigeon, whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yell at me on the street.
Yeah, yell at me, please. I actually really like that. So, please, let us know if anything you guys want to see, want us to do. Obviously, within limits. I can only get so naked on YouTube. So, yeah.
But when we have a Patreon, if you want us to, we'll jerk off on it. I'm just saying. I have no qualms about that.
Fair enough. If Howard Stern can get away with shit on fucking
terrestrial radio, then I feel like we can get
Yeah.
away with shit on Patreon.
Fair enough. But please let us know anything you guys want us to see / do. We would love to hear your feedback.
We would love it. All right, before we get into the album,
Yes,
I did something this week. So
I'm ready.
With all of the AI stuff, I thought it'd be interesting to like throw our shit into like an AI generator and see what comes up, right? And so I got a few episode descriptions that I thought were fucking amazing.
All right, I'm ready for
All
this.
right, so first one. An episode of Misfits on Vinyl where Spencer and Aaron talk about Pink Floyd's The Wall and the music of Pink Floyd. This episode is sponsored by the Muffin Man. To learn more about him, visit the website at muffinfun.com. This episode was produced by the Muppets. Show support. Your purchase helps support the podcast and allows us to keep bringing you bonus content, interviews, and more. We're committed to sharing the wealth. Please support our Patreon account by using the link at the top of the page.
Nice.
That was the first one, and I was
like that one.
that was pretty great. I love the fact that it was brought to us by the Muffin Man.
Brought to us by the Muffin Man.
And I did not know that Sam was a Muppet until right then. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I mean, to be fair, you guys haven't seen him. He could very well be a Muppet.
I will say this: he does look like Swedish Chef.
Yeah,
and
true.
And he's Swedish Chef.
We revived Jim Henson. He's producer of our podcast.
Honestly, that's why they're shooting Fraggle Rock in Calgary.
My favorite part is when the Muppet tries to like control the camera and set up the tech with his little hands. They just kind of fold back like it's made out of felt or something. When he's like opening the lens, it's like.
And honestly, like the rods, you'd think that would help him, give him some stability. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
All right, here's the second description.
Okay, I'm ready.
An episode of Misfits on Vinyl where Spencer and Aaron talk about Mozart, and Spencer has a breakdown of Moz's the Magic Flute. Aaron has an episode about Pink and the Magic. Spencer talks about the Pink. Pink is the best band ever, and then Aaron talks Pink in general. Then Spencer goes on to talk the Beatles. An episode.
Okay, this week we should have this do our descriptions for Instagram and for Spotify. Because this is just way better than any of the show we can write
Honestly,
together.
this is so fucking good. Okay, so this one I was actually surprised. I used a different one for this last one.
Okay, I'm ready.
And it gave us a pretty fucking good one.
All right, I'm ready.
Spencer and Aaron were talking about REM on their vinyls in a passionate yet casual manner, debating the intricacies of the band's sound. Spencer detailed how the bouncy guitar melodies combined with Michael Stepp's earnestly emotive lyrics evoked an indelible sense of nostalgia, while Aaron argued that the deeply layered production offered a rarefied sophistication unmatched by most pop acts. As they discussed these disparate elements and others, both men were enthused to dive deeper into the sounds of REM, representing an intriguing output for their vinyl session.
Why was that more in depth than anything we've ever said on this podcast? How come that was way better than anything that's come out of our mouths? The intricacies. The layered production. I don't think we've ever gotten that in depth before.
I don't think so either. I think we generally talk about emotion.
Yeah, we're like, do we like it? Yeah, it was good.
Sounds
good. Out of 10, everything gets an 8.
Everything's 8 out of 10. We're the Louis B. Hobson of music reviews.
Well, it's just the music is the framework of our podcast, but we just kind of,
we kind of fuck around.
fuck around. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was amazing, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did that at 2 a.m. the other day.
That was a lot of fun, man.
I was laughing so hard at the Muffin Man one.
The Muffin Man. Yeah, that last one was better than anything we could have ever written ourselves.
100%. It was so good. Although I will say this, I would never willingly review an REM album, so I feel like
shiny happy people holding hands.
That's me in the spot. Losing my religion.
I do like Orange Crush.
Do you?
I got my spine, I got my Orange Crush.
Oh, right, I forgot about that song.
That's like anytime I drink an Orange Crush, I'm like, oh, got my spine. That's good. It's still there. Still there.
How often do you drink Orange Crushes?
Not as often as I once did.
I was never really a big Orange Crush fan.
I liked the Crushes. Fun fact, they make Crush in Newfoundland, so there were some specific flavors.
Did you have the
Crush.
pineapple?
Yes.
Yeah.
That were only available in a couple different places in Canada. And they also had birch beer. I don't know if any people have had birch beer, but it's like...
I've only had Aspen Ale.
Sometimes when I listen back to the podcast, I catch things you say, and I'm like, did I willingly ignore that, or did I just not notice?
I honestly, I always think it's kind of willingly, and I'm like, that's fair.
But I love it so much. All right, that's awesome. Let's
right.
Shall we?
We shall.
Let's
All
do
right.
the thing.
So every episode on Misfits on Vinyl, we review an album.
Yep.
Sometimes it's one of our favorites. Sometimes it's a popular one. Sometimes it's one that a guest chooses. And this week, it was just one that I happen to have in my collection.
Nice.
So this week, we are reviewing on Misfits on Vinyl Steve Winwood's Talking Back to the Night.
Woohoo. Yes, Steve!
Yes, Steve!
Steve!
Stevie boy! Okay. All right, so this album was released on August 2nd, 1982 by Island Records. It's an electro/synth pop album. It's his third studio album as a solo artist. Winwood did all of the instruments and vocals, with his ex-wife Nicole Weir providing some backing vocals. Winwood also produced the album, but it was engineered by John Nobby Clark, who I looked this up. Okay,
Is his name really Nobby?
it's really that's his stage name.
How's it spelled?
Nobby.
Okay, that's how I thought it was going to be spelled.
And you know what's weird? When I Googled him, because he didn't have a Wikipedia page, so I had to do some deeper dives. One of the first things is, why is Nobby a nickname for Clark? Apparently, that's a common thing.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
You can start calling me Aaron Wobbly Walsh. That's what I want going forward.
Aaron Wobbly Walsh.
Spencer's Sobby Streichert.
Sobby?
Yeah.
Sobby?
I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff.
Spencer. No, I can't think of anything.
It's okay. We don't need to go with the nicknames because I don't want to be known as Wobbly, and I certainly wouldn't want to be known as Nobby.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is Spanker, because that's been like my nickname for years, and I don't. I personally am like, friends can call me that.
What did you hate that I used to call you? Spenny?
Spenny.
Yeah.
I hate Spenny. There's one Spenny that ruined it for everyone. I didn't even know it was a nickname for Spencer's until Kenny versus Spenny. So
I used to call you Spenny, and it used to drive you crazy.
yeah,
I'd like do it sometimes on purpose, and then I'd see Spencer like boil up.
so did fucking Mihai.
Yeah.
Mihai used to do it too. He'd be like, Spenny bud, how's it going?
And you would fucking,
And I'd be like,
you would boil up, and then like probably like a week later, you'd be like, "Hey man, like I really hate it when you call me Spenny."
it's so annoying. I fucking hate Spenny. It's the
And then it
worst.
just like kind of encouraged me to keep doing it.
I know, because as soon as you tell somebody not to do something,
Yeah,
that's the thing you want to do.
that's all I'm
Like,
thinking about.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So John Nobby Clark
Yes.
primarily worked with Winwood on his solo projects, but he also played piano on the jazz albums Ray Ellington's Talk of the Town and Bruce Adams' quartet 1 Foot in the Gutter. So he worked a lot in and he was also like a live jazz musician.
Nice.
Steve Winwood co-wrote all the tracks with Will Jennings. Now, Will Jennings is known for writing the lyrics for Eric Clapton's Tears in Heaven
Nice.
and Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On.
Oh, so very very good in the tear jerking songs.
Very good in the tear-jerking songs. Also very, I would probably say 2 of the most iconic songs of all time.
Definitely up there. I would say so.
Definitely up there. He's won 2 Grammys, 2 Golden Globes, and 2 Oscars. Obviously for My Heart Will Go On. But then in 1983 with Buffy St. Marie for writing the song Up Where We Belong, performed by Joe Cocker for the movie An Officer and a Gentleman. So very, very funny that was like right around the same time he was doing this. Now, a real weird one. So photography for like promo for the album and everything was done by Lynn Goldsmith, who is a multidisciplinary artist and producer working in a shit ton of mediums. Like, she was a film director, she was a recording artist. In 1972, she directed ABC's In Concert, and after directing a documentary piece on Grand Funk Railroad, she ended up becoming their manager for a few years. But recently, she's been in huge legal battles with the Warhol Foundation over the use of her images.
Ooh, interesting.
And this is an ongoing case, and the decision is due in May. Basically, what happened was in the 80s, she took a bunch of pictures of Prince for Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
And then Warhol took all of her pictures and did a Prince collection. And then the Warhol Foundation has been making money off of it now, like,
For years.
years. And she was like, hey, that's like not cool because that's my shit. And they're like, no, it's fair use because he changed the images enough. And so she sued them, lost the first lawsuit, but then it went to a court of appeals, and she won the 2 court of appeals.
Interesting.
So what's crazy about it, like, we're gonna have to keep an eye on this because it actually has like a lot to do with like the fair use thing in general. But one of the things that could be an outcome of this is that she will get back paid for like fuck tons of years from this, which I think, honestly, I've kind of always been under the belief that if you take a photo and then somebody uses it for their art, like, even if they change it a fuck ton, if they're making money off of it, they should be paying you something.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, even like on small things, like even we were discussing recently about, we get someone to make up a logo for when we do merch. Of course, they're gonna get a cut.
Yeah, they have to get a cut.
They made the logo.
Yeah,
it's, they might have not done the complete design, but you use an aspect of their design in our design. You have to compensate.
You have to compensate.
It makes sense. I know art sometimes can be weird. Like, I mean, Warhol is known for doing this, so it's not anything like, I don't know if you ever seen his stuff with Basquiat.
No.
He's got like they collabed, and it was like Basquiat does this grand fucking painting, and like it's just over top of like a Warhol Campbell soup. It's like, it's like, but it's a collab. But it's like Basquiat did I mean, not that his paintings weren't incredibly detailed, but they were certainly considered high art. So it's like, they had this weird little.
Visual artists are weird, man. Like Warhol's an odd dude.
You get it's tough to get the art thing, dude, sometimes. Like, I mean, when me and Sarah go to New York, we're gonna go to all these museums, and I remember when I was in Toronto, I went to the AGO quite a bit, and like half the time I'm just staring at it, like trying to think of anything. It's like I do see art and I'm like, oh wow, that's beautiful, but then sometimes you see some shit, it's like, oh, okay, like interesting enough.
100%. And like, and honestly, like, most of the time the things that I think are cool probably have no fucking meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like,
some things will catch you. Like I was looking at a Monet, and it was really cool, like all the different little fucking dots and how it makes a full painting.
I believe it's pronounced money.
Money. Okay, yeah, I was looking at money, which of course my eyes went big. But no, like some art, yes, you can appreciate it. And like I seen the Starry Night, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Quintessence of Memory or whatever, like the Melting Clock one. Dolly.
Yeah.
It's like this. It's small.
Really?
It's really small. I can say it's probably like a 5x6.
Really?
It's tiny. It's super, super small. Yeah, I walked by it and I was like, huh? I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, that's like one of the most famous paintings to ever exist.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Did you know, this is like, because my favorite painting is Edvard Munch's The Scream.
Yes.
And there's 5 different versions of it that are all technically the original.
Really? That's weird.
He did them, like, he did that painting like 5 different times. The first one didn't hit, second one didn't hit, third one didn't hit, fourth one hit, fifth one he was like, I'm going to redo it again. Like, it very weird.
That is strange. Well, one day we'll dive into the art world. Misfits on canvas.
Misfits on canvas. Coming to you in 2024.
We will tour some art museums and say what's good and what's bad.
Honestly, that would be so funny if we just like went to an art museum and asked people, like, what do you think of this?
Well, I'll be going to the MoMA, and I'll be going to the Met, and I'll be going to the Museum of Natural History. The Met is different, though. The Met has, like, a lot of historical artifacts.
Yeah.
It's a little different, but the MoMA is just straight modern art.
I think I've mentioned this before, but, like, one of my favorite things to do when I'm on the road is going to, like, these small-town museums and just finding out weird shit. Like,
sometimes they have museums about the most randomest fucking stuff.
Oh, my God. Yeah. There's a fucking gopher museum, like, an hour outside of Calgary.
Oh, that's kind of worth going to.
Yeah, like, we should do it on our trip.
I'd go for that.
You'd go for that?
Yeah, I'd go for that. Yeah. You're wearing off on me.
I'm wearing off on you.
Yeah, like I'm becoming like you.
Like you're becoming like me.
Yeah, I'm doing wordplay.
You're doing wordplay.
Yeah, I am doing wordplay.
You are doing wordplay.
Speaking of wordplay, we should play with the words that are on the screen
Instead of doing fucking Meisner exercises.
Yes, wordplay.
Okay, so the artwork for the album was done by Tony Wright, who is an award-winning graphic designer who created over 57 album covers, including the Ramones' Subterranean Jungle, the B-52's B-52, and Bob Marley's Natty Dread.
Nice.
His artwork for Traffic's 1971 album, The Low Sparks of High-Heeled Boys, and Steve Winwood's Arc of a Diver are listed among Rolling Stone's 100 Greatest Album Covers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he's done all of Steve Winwood's albums.
He gets art.
He gets art.
Yeah.
He's very in touch with the art.
Very in touch with
he's
the
art.
artistic.
He's an artiste.
Very
Artisanal. Nice. Okay.
Artisanal bread.
About the artist, Steve Winwood was born May 12th, 1948 in Handsworth, Birmingham, England. At just 4 years old, he began playing piano, well interested in swing and Dixieland jazz, and soon started playing drums and guitar. He was also a choir boy at St. John's Church of England. At only 8 years old, he started playing with his semi-professional musician father and his elder brother Muff in the Ron Atkinson Band. Muff later recalled that when Steve began playing regularly with them in licensed pubs and clubs, the piano had to be turned with its back to the audience to try and hide him because he was so obviously underage.
The names today are great. Muff and Nobby.
Muff and Nobby.
Yeah, that's great so far. There's some really great names.
There's a few other good names in here. Don't worry.
I can't
about
wait.
to hit some good ones.
Okay.
I mean, they're well-known ones, but well, still a pupil at Great Bar School, like when he was, 14 years old. He was a part of the Birmingham blues rock scene and playing the Hammond C3 organ and guitar. He started backing for blues legends such as Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker, Howlin' Wolf, B.B. King, Chuck Berry, and Bo Diddley on their UK tours. Because back then, they wouldn't tour with their whole band. They would just pick up, musicians.
That's crazy.
Right?
We should do some B.B. King sometime.
B.B. King is great. I have a B.B. King album.
There's a fucking legendary clip of him changing a guitar string mid-fucking song.
What?
So sick, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
Stevie Ray Vaughan's got a clip like that, too. Like, in the middle of performance, like, in about maybe 15 seconds, they change a string and tune the string and just start fucking jamming again. It's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, there's one of Stevie Ray Vaughan and one of B.B. King doing it. It's really cool.
That is actually insane.
Yeah, and they're still singing while they're doing it. They're, singing and fucking just
that is actual multitasking.
Yeah,
that is a whole nother level.
It's super impressive.
That is super impressive. Yeah. So, Steve Winwood modeled his singing after Ray Charles, and at 14, he joined the Spencer Davis Group along with his older brother Muff, who later had success as a record producer. After Spencer Davis saw them performing at the Muffy Wood Jazz Band at a Birmingham pub called
Muffy Wood. You can't make that shit up, dude. Muffy Wood Jazz Band. The Muffy Wood Jazz Band.
I don't know why they would name it that.
It's so good.
I don't know why they would name their son Muff.
Yeah, that's his legal name.
That's his legal name.
Oh God,
Muff. Personally, if I was named Muff, I would become an Olympic diver.
I was trying to think of what it could be short for, but I was like, Mufferland.
Mufford.
Yeah.
Mufford.
Muffin.
The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man.
It had the description perfectly.
This episode is brought to you by the Muffin Man.
His name is Mervyn.
Oh, so his name is Mervyn.
Mervyn Muff Winwood.
What was it? Charles Nobby.
No, John Nobby Charles.
John Nobby Charles. Amazing. You learned something new.
So the group made their debut at the Eagle and subsequently had a Monday night residency there.
Nice.
Winwood's distinct high tenor voice and style drew comparisons to Ray Charles very early on. In '64, they signed their first record contract with Island Records.
In 64?
64.
Wow.
So he's like 15 at the time.
That's crazy, because, yeah. Okay, yeah, that... I mean, because I always think of him as like an 80s artist. Like,
Yeah.
To think that he was in the game for a long time before that.
Oh, wait until you hear the fucking crazy shit that's about to happen.
All right, I'm
so,
ready.
The Spencer Davis Group, they signed, and producer-founder Chris Blackwell later said of Winwood, he was really the cornerstone of Island Records. He's a musical genius, and because he was with Island, all the other talent really wanted to be with Island. The group's first record, a single, was released 10 days after his 16th birthday.
Wow.
The group had their first #1 single at the end of '65 with Keep On Running. The money from this success allowed Winwood to buy his own Hammond organ, and then Winwood co-wrote and recorded the chart-topping hits Gimme Some Lovin', I'm a Man, both with the Spencer Davis Group before leaving that in '67.
Wow.
They've actually sold they had sold millions of records. Like
That's crazy.
So his first fucking dip into it after being like a backing musician for these big artists.
Just right #1 record.
Right, #1 records, and
That's
he's
crazy.
just getting out of high school.
I mean, shout out to Island Records. We talked about them last week with Nick Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's a little more background on Island Records. I'm sure we've touched on them before, too, at some point.
I'm sure we have.
Yeah, but there's another little connection there.
That is so wild. See, this is how we do the podcast. We always find a connection from the previous
Yeah, it's
episode.
it's all linear.
It's all linear. Don't worry, we're going to go full circle. Okay. He then joined forces with guitarist Eric Clapton as part of a one-off group, Eric Clapton and the Powerhouse. The songs were recorded for Elektra, but only 3 tracks made a compilation album, What's Shakin'. Then he met drummer Jim Capaldi, guitarist Dave Mason, and multi-instrumentalist Chris Wood, and they jammed together at the Elbow Room, which was a club in Aston, Birmingham, and this led to his second band, Traffic. Now, Traffic ended up being just as big, if not bigger, than...
Okay, now I'm, like, I didn't read your fucking thing, but I know Traffic.
Yeah.
I did not know that was Steve Winwood.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is all connecting the dots for me, because, yeah, I didn't really do any background in this. I just listened to the fucking album, but I know Traffic.
Yeah.
So...
Traffic was fucking huge.
Yeah, Traffic was a big band.
So, it gets crazier. There's some fucking really crazy shit that he was a part of. So, early in Traffic's formation, Winwood and Capaldi formed a songwriting partnership, with Winwood writing the music to match Capaldi's lyrics. The partnership was the source of Traffic's material, including popular songs such as Paper Sun, The Low Spark of High-Heeled Boys, and outlived the band, producing several songs for their solo albums. Over the band's history, Winwood performed the majority of the lead vocals, keyboard instruments, and guitars. And he also frequently played bass and percussion. So, he's just fucking hitting everything.
Just doing everything for
He's
the
doing
band. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So then, while he was still in Traffic, he was brought in by Jimi Hendrix to play the organ for Voodoo Child on the
What the fuck,
Electric
dude?
Ladyland album.
Wow.
So this is still, now he's 18. He's worked with fucking basically everyone.
Okay, this one is very surprising.
Right?
Yeah, because, like, no one really talks about Steve Winwood, like, if at all.
No.
That's weird.
Especially
Wild.
for all of the, like, crazy impacts that he's had
That's crazy,
on music.
man. So he's on Voodoo Child.
He's on Voodoo Child. And then in '69, he formed the supergroup Blind Faith with Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and Rick Gretsch. They was super short-lived because Eric Clapton was much more interested in their opening act, Delaney and Bonnie and Friends. So Clapton left the band at the tour's end. And then because of, like, the wariness with, like, everything else and, like, he was doing a million things, he ended up leaving Traffic and retired to just being a session musician for a few years.
Nice.
So then, under pressure from Island Records, he resurfaced with his self-titled first solo album in 1977, which was then followed by his 1980 hit, Arc of a Diver, which included his first hit solo, Well You See a Chance, and Taking Back the Night in 1982. Or Talking Back to the Night. Both albums were recorded at his home in Gloucestershire, with Winwood playing all the instruments.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire. Gloucestershire.
So one thing you mentioned too, he's from Birmingham and he spends a lot of time in Birmingham. Apparently, I'm not saying this because I don't know the metrics if we have any listeners in Birmingham, but apparently the Birmingham accent is the worst of all the English accents.
I have heard that too.
Yeah, that is a rumor that has gone around.
I have heard it is very fucking bad.
I met someone from Birmingham and he didn't seem to have that terrible of an accent, but he was also very well traveled and hadn't lived in Birmingham in a very long time.
It sounds like somebody doing a really bad British impression.
But for my opinion, is if it's worse than a Scouser, you have some serious fucking problems.
Oh, fuck.
The Scousers, dude, like, are terrible.
Fucking fight you, mate.
Me head.
Me fucking head.
Yeah, you don't got it, but
me fucking head.
A Scouser accent.
It hurts
I
in Boston.
I always do this. Fucking shocking. That's the one when I do a Scouser impression. Come here, fucking shocking. That's the best I can do. But yeah, if it's worse than a Scouser's accent, I don't know. But he sings pretty good, so he doesn't have the Birmingham accent for that.
He doesn't have it in his singing, which is amazing.
Rumor to be told, it's the worst of all the English accents.
It's actually kind of impressive because you don't really hear his accent. He sounds a little bit different in all of these groups.
Yeah.
Like you can't. And I mean, granted, when he was in the Spencer Davis group, he was going through puberty, so of course he's fucking
his voice is changing.
Yeah, he's not sounding exactly the same on Give Me Some
This
Lovin'.
is incredible so far. I mean, I didn't know all this stuff about Steve.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Fucking insane. So in 1986, he traveled to New York for his next album project, where he enlisted the help of a bunch of stars to record Back in the High Life in the U.S. And the album was a hit. It topped the Billboard 100 with Higher Love. It earned 2 Grammy Awards for Record of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Performance. And then he embarked on a massive North American tour in support of the album. When he got done the tour, though, he divorced his wife, Nicole Weir, and then moved to Nashville with his new American wife, Eugenia Crafton.
Nice.
However, at the peak of his commercial success, he moved from Island Records to Virgin and then released Roll With It and Refugees of the Heart. The album Roll With It and the title track hit #1 in the U.S. And then his another album with Virgin, Far From Home, was officially credited to Traffic, but nearly all the instruments were played by him.
Interesting.
So this was like right when he was about to do the reunion with Traffic.
Yeah.
That album broke the top 40 in both the UK and the US. In 94, he reunited with Traffic, recording a whole new album and performing at Woodstock 94.
Nice.
And then I kind of skipped through the rest of it because it was a lot of the same sort of collaborations and stuff. But in 2008, he was awarded an honorary doctorate from the Berklee College of Music to add to his honorary degree from Aston University in Birmingham. In 2009, he recorded a live album with Eric Clapton at Madison Square Garden. On the 28th of March 2012, he was one of Roger Daltrey's special guest stars for an evening with Roger Daltrey and friends, which was in aid of teenage cancer. And then in 2013, he toured with Rod Stewart. 2014 with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Nice.
And then in 2020, he was supposed to go on tour with Steely Dan.
That'd have been sick.
Dude, that would have been so fucking cool.
See, I seen Rod Stewart in concert. Would have been in 2009 or 10.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. It was I knew Maggie May, but my parents dragged me along. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was he punting soccer balls.
Really?
Yeah, and this was in Edmonton. We were at Rexall Place, and he got it way up into the second bowl.
Really?
He used to be a really, really good soccer player. He could have gone pro.
Wow.
Rod Stewart, yeah, but yeah, he was just punting. He's fucking 75 years old, just drop kicking soccer balls. Fucking.
So then I got the question, then the obvious one.
Oh.
Do you think he's sexy?
Yeah, I think he's got hot legs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want his body?
Yeah.
Well, tell him, honey. Let him know.
If you want my body
and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know.
Let me know, baby.
All right. Getting into the notable tracks here. Valerie. That's
me phlegm.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
When this album came out, it was number 51 on the UK charts, number 70 on the US Billboard Hot 100. But then in 87, it was re-released and remixed, sort of, but it was more of just redoing like the sounds on it, like in terms of like re-leveling it, by Tom Lord Angle, and that single reached number 9. On the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, the Roots covered it in 2017 for Bob Odenkirk's entrance.
Nice.
And a sample of another remix of this called "Call on Me," which was released in like 2006.
Yeah, Eric Prydz.
Yeah, that remix was used in Chris Brown's "Pass Out" from his 2009 album Graffiti.
Nice.
So that song has had like a surprisingly long life.
Doesn't Kygo have a remix too of Higher Love?
Yes, of Higher Love. Yeah. So like, and he's getting a lot of remixes nowadays because of like, I think because it's so like fucking of its time, and it's very simple to like, it's a basic tempo. Like all of these songs.
The Call on Me remix though, that was a pretty big fucking hit.
That
like,
was
just by itself. Like minus the Chris Brown shit, which we don't have to bring him up ever again.
No,
that's a.
We had to bring up one each episode.
Yeah, one
each episode.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's we were actually, me and Sam, I put it on the way over. I was like, this is a fucking killer remix.
Yeah.
It's like, you remember this fucking tune?
It's fucking good.
Yep.
Okay, so the other songs on the album that kind of stand out, Big Girls Walk Away, there's a Candle Burning. There's a Candle Burning is like just like fucking so funny to me because it sounds like it should be in the intro of an 80s rom-com. And then Still in the Game and There's a River were both used in Miami Vice.
Nice. There Was a River, I like that. I didn't mind that track.
Yeah, I was not opposed to that one.
No, but this album is so of its time.
It's
dude.
so of its time.
Holy fuck, man!
We can answer the does it hold up? No.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not. Okay, All Music, like the aggregate score for this. We're getting into reception now. The aggregate score for All Music sits at a 3 out of 5. Initially, it got a 2 out of 5 on the Rolling Stone. Now, here's the thing. I mean, we kind of gotta. We always got to push back on the Rolling Stone a little bit.
We got beef.
But I don't necessarily disagree, but I do feel like it's like it's like a halfway. You know what I mean? Like it's not good, but it's not bad. It's just very fucking of its time.
I don't know, like it really wanted me to, like when I was listening to it, I wanted to get into like a Pontiac Trans Am and fucking, like
rip the sleeves off your shirt.
Oh yeah.
Fucking cruising down the fucking street at sunset, thinking
like, beach off to the left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
dude,
like,
rip your shirt off, play some fucking beach volleyball with the boys.
Thinking about if the fucking Russians are gonna nuke us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely put me in that mindset.
Dude, and seeing Reagan everywhere.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree.
I would be like, yeah, trickle down.
Okay, so Paul Putterbaugh.
Another one.
Man, this is a full of weird names.
How do you spell Putterbaugh?
Putterbaugh. Putterbaugh.
That's not how I thought the way you pronounce it. I thought it was Putterbaa. Putterbaugh. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's like a Boston soccer player. Putterbaugh in the net. Putterbaugh.
No. You always got to work in your Boston accent.
All right, so Putterbaugh said the album is, for the most part, a bland, easy listening electropop rut. Christgau's Record Guide to the 80s gave it a C. And on Discogs, which I've been doing a lot of our research from Discogs, actually, because they have, like, pretty detailed, like, if you go through somebody, you can find all of the albums they worked on. The user reviews on that gave it 3.48 out of 5.
Okay. That's pretty mid.
It was number 28 on the US Billboard 200, number 6 on the UK albums chart, number 7 in Norway. It charted basically everywhere, and it was certified gold in Canada.
Nice.
Now, getting into the criticism here.
You kind of summed it up pretty well.
This entire album just sounds like the soundtrack to a generic 80s sports film. And, like, don't get me wrong, there's songs on this that I do have in my, like, rotation. But overall, like, listening to it front to back the other day, I was like, fuck, like if I didn't actually like know this album, I guarantee you not be able to tell the difference between any of these fucking songs.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. I mean, the only song, in all honesty, like I would listen to or have listened to beforehand is Valerie.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only one I will listen to on a regular basis after this.
And honestly, I think that most of us are listening to the remix.
Yeah.
Like the 87 re-release.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I noticed about it was like there's a lot of tinniness in this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not the same, but like
some really sharp synths in that track though, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fucking probably one of the most recognizable, you know.
do do do
do do do do do do do. So standing there, yeah,
with a hand in my hair. Go on, can't imagine.
What the fuck are the words? No, I can't be the one with
a
the
hand in his arms, Valerie. Call on me, Valerie.
They're so pitchy.
Oh my god, yeah, no.
Thank God we don't do music.
No, I like, okay, so here's the thing. Like, we're going to get into the rating of this. We already said, like, it doesn't really hold up. There's one song that holds up on this album.
Yeah.
I would say, like, okay, so we go through technical, musical, lyrics, album art, reception, doesn't hold up, blah, blah, blah. Technical, I mean, like, it's very of its time. I would have to go pretty fucking low on it.
Yeah, I think it, like, in all honesty, if we end up somewhere at, like, a 6.5 or a 7, like, across the board, I think is pretty fair.
I was thinking 5.
Yeah, even 5.
I was thinking 5. And, like, I like the album,
I was trying to
but,
be generous, but you might be right.
I think, like, it's, like, you, like, going through everything, I'm, like, technical, it's, like, it sounds way too much like it's time.
Yeah. See, because, like, I wanted to be, like, nice, because sometimes I shit on the albums you pick, but I'm glad we could shit on this one together.
No,
Yeah,
like,
I'm glad we could shit on this one together. Okay.
although I will say, I've been getting so many people saying, like, you were wrong about CKY.
Nah, maybe I'll revisit. I did own up to the fact I might have been wrong about Bibio.
That's
So
true. That's
I did
true.
come back around, because, I mean, to be fair, and, like, as the audience probably knows, it's like we pick an album every single week.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to digest an album
in a whole week,
and
yeah.
if you're not familiar,
And also the CKY one, that was a rec episode, and we were doing 2 that day.
Yep.
And it was also like I don't even think we had a whole week that time.
No.
We had like 3 days because that was when I was coming back from Toronto.
So sometimes it can be hard to fully digest an album, and certainly there's been albums I've revisited and be like, oh yeah, like this is really fucking good. Even like even though we gave it a good review, the Casey Musgrave one, I'm still listening to that album.
Yeah.
And it's been like almost a month later. So sometimes it's not enough time for it to sit with us, which is unfortunate with the format.
Yeah.
But that's, you know.
And also, we're not, like, we're not like Anthony Fantano. Like, we're not listening to an album front to back, like, 3 times, going over like each fucking thing and then like writing a script
No.
about it, you know.
I'm listening to it in the car. I'm listening to it when I'm playing video games, trying to just get a feel.
I'm kind
for
of
the
going through
album.
my day-to-day life and seeing where it fits in with my day-to-day life too, you know, which
So-
I mean, that also, I think that helps with discovering some types
Mm-hmm.
of music, and I think it also hinders others, you know what I mean? Like, because I listen to a lot of music when I'm like walking places or if I'm like going to the gym, and so if I'm listening to an album in the gym and it's a fucking slower album, I'm not gonna be as into it, you know.
Yeah, so certainly that can affect ratings. And like I said, I have owned up in the past and said, you know, actually, I have to correct myself. I did really like that album. So maybe CKY, I will warm up to at some point. Honestly, really haven't listened to it much since then. But I don't think this album, the Steve Winwood
this
album,
one-
is one that I will really warm up to.
I don't think so either. Like, and like I said before, I do really like the album, but I also am like, I'm kind of an 80s fuckhead, you know? Like,
Well,
I'll listen to
there's
stupid.
much better synth pop
Yeah.
records from the 80s, and, you know, there's better. I mean, you could say Valerie is one of the best synth pop tracks of the
Yeah,
80s.
because I think it's been listed on like the re-release was listed on like Rolling Stone's like top 100 songs of the 80s. You know,
Yeah,
like,
so that certainly could fall into that category, but the rest of the songs, they're really they're not. They don't even come up on radio on an 80s radio station.
no.
Yeah,
So technical, I would honestly go like 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
I'd go 3 out of 10. Musical, I'd go probably 6 or 7 out of 10 since he did everything himself.
Yeah, that you got to give him respect for. I'll go a 6.5.
Yeah,
for his, because I mean, even that's something he's done through all of his career. So, but
his voice is still amazing.
He does have a great voice.
Like he's got an amazing voice.
It's unique too. I mean, it's not a voice that you would hear in popular radio nowadays. You can certainly hear the church, sort of growing up singing in a church sort of thing. He's got a very big, and
he's got that like choral fucking
the choral voice. Yeah, so it's not something that you would hear so much on the radio anymore, or even like really past the 80s. But it's unique for its time, and he's certainly a nice voice.
And there's also like a lot of like, I think that nowadays we have a lot of like sing-talky artists, or we have like the Adele like belt it the fuck out artists, but there's not really that middle ground, which is kind of what this falls into, where like he can have like almost a sing-talky verse, but then have a chorus where he's just hitting notes that you're like, wow. And that sort of, I guess, difference in a song makes me think musically it's a little bit more impressive.
The big male voice isn't really a thing as much. Even like if you look in like rock music or indie rock music, it's almost a softer male voice is the thing rather than a big, powerful.
Literally, Matt Anderson is like one of the only ones that we've looked at that I would put into like that big male voice.
And I mean outside of like R&B, there's lots of powerful male voices, but it's certainly for pop music. At least by today's standards, it would be different. Yeah, I know back then there was lots of powerful male voices.
There was, I would say, okay. So going on with the next one, lyrics. I would give lyrics a bit of a higher rating because like there is like I'm saying higher because the rest of it is gonna go downhill pretty fucking quick. Like I'd say like 7 out of 10 on lyrics. Like I think that there's some lyrics that really do stand out, and I think like. But again, they are very dated. Like, like, oh, well, there's a candle burning. You're just like, I'll be waiting for your love. Like there's like, but at the same time, very dated to that time. And it was like kind of that transition time too, between the 70s and 80s where the ballad changed completely.
I'd say I'll go a 7 on lyrics because I know it's, like you said, it's about to go a little more downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to give him a fair grade, but it's tough sometimes. Like we said before with the rating system, sometimes you can get some skewed.
Yeah. And also like it sucks because I'm like, if we were going over like Arc of a Diver or a Traffic album or the album that Higher Love was on, I would probably be inclined to make this like an 8 out of 10 album. But it's this album, you know? Okay, album art. I mean, I can appreciate the guy that made it, and his influence on other, styles, when it comes to, his work with like the Ramones and Bob Marley and everything. But that being said, it doesn't, looking at that album cover, I would not pick it up out of a bin unless I knew it was Steve Winwood.
The font on the back is horrendous. Have you ever heard?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Look at the font on the back.
That is
you're a big
very bad.
You're a big font guy, but the font on the back is pretty fucking shit.
That's like bolded all caps Comic Sans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With a border on it.
Yeah. No.
Not good.
No. Interesting album art, certainly. I don't know if it really suits the tone of the album.
No.
Whatsoever.
And it doesn't, it's eye-catching for the wrong reasons. I didn't even until this week really realize what the album cover looked like, because I bought it at a record store and just was like, oh, I like Steve Winwood, So
my question is, there's like these like Chinese or Mandarin writing. Is that not very racist?
Oh, Jesus, shit.
Yeah, is that like they have a very
There's also a very stereotypical, I think, African American gentleman
Yeah.
in the front there. There's a lot of this that is very not
could be considered racially insensitive.
insensitive, to say the
The
least.
shopkeeper at the Chinese restaurant is very
Oof. Okay, so 2 out of 10 on Elmart.
Yeah, 2 out of
10 on Elmart, and then reception.
There's a horse.
Reception, they gave it a it's basically sitting at a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, does it hold up? No.
No, I mean the one track does.
The
but
one
you can't-
track-
that can't carry the whole album.
No. So I'd give it. Yeah, this is a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
It's right down the middle. I mean, like, I say 5 out of 10 because like there's one album that we're gonna do soon that is 100% a 1.
Yeah.
And you know, like,
Which is nice too, to mix in a couple bad reviews. One thing I found tough with Guess is Guess all love their albums and they're like, oh, give it a 10, give it a 10,
Yeah.
give it a 10. And it's like, I don't think it's all a 10.
no, and especially like what I think is funny is like, I mean, the Arkell's one I agreed on. I was like, yeah, 100%. Let's go high on this. Like, this is a good album. But then with Casey Musgraves, it was so funny when Jack was like, you know what? It's all going to be 10s. And then the more that we started talking about it, the more his fucking numbers started dipping down. And I was like, we're breaking you. We are breaking you. And
We're breaking him in.
We're breaking you in. You're not going to love it as much now that we've talked about it like this. We're ruining this for
But
you.
I love it more now, so it's a 10.
I do love it more now, too.
It's a 10 now.
honestly.
It's 10 across the boards.
I've been listening to it on fuck ton.
I'm just a dime
Store cowgirl.
Every time Sam gets in my truck, it comes on. Oh, I'm ever gonna be.
Dude, the fucking hair flip there was too cute.
You guys miss out not seeing Sam because Sam makes me laugh so
He
many
is
times
so
during the
fucking funny.
podcast, and you guys don't get to understand what I'm laughing at. So sucks to suck.
Unless it's the fart, because then they could
True.
hear that.
Yeah, the fart was legendary.
That was pretty fucking
And
legendary.
we're gonna bring it up over and over and over because Sam turns red like a tomato anytime we bring up the fact that he split his cheeks right on our
Yeah.
fucking show. Yeah.
And like it echoed through the sound case.
Yeah, he leaned back. Even the people that were all the way in Los Angeles, they heard it.
Yeah.
Not even through their speakers.
No,
It's
they
like
just fucking heard it.
Yeah, it's like a 4.2 magnitude
Yeah.
earthquake hit Los Angeles.
It was
Shook the building.
yeah on the seismic scale.
Yeah, on the
I was fucking that up so bad. I'm so sorry.
Like,
Oh.
you shifted.
I was the reason of that Syrian.
You literally shifted the tectonic plates with your ass cheeks.
Holy fuck.
Shout out to all the people in Turkey and Syria.
Oh god. Now we have to have a stinger for that.
No, we're good.
For breakfast today, it's fine.
It's good.
What?
It's a Turkish breakfast.
Nice.
Okay.
I had turkey on Thanksgiving. We're all good.
That's yep. My favorite candy is a Turkish delight.
Nice. We don't have to put any fucking spoilers this episode. Or
Spoilers?
Any warnings? Any warnings? Yeah, I think we're fine.
I mean, we should probably give one to Steve Winwood if he listens.
yeah, Steve.
Oh, I forgot to mention this because like it happened in between our recordings. I got a fucking Valentine's Day card from John Oates. I got
Hall & Oates?
of Hall & Oates.
Nice.
I got a fucking Valentine's Day card from John Oates, and it's a handwritten postcard. But it was so funny because his Instagram was like, "I'll send out Valentine's Day cards if anyone wants one."
Speaking of Hall & Oates, you got fucking shit on.
We're not talking about that until we do that episode, which leads me to my next point. We need to have everybody tweet out at John Oates to see if he'll come on.
No.
Yes.
No, we'll just pin him up privately.
Tweet at John Oates.
I'll message Daryl Hall.
I feel like Oates is probably going to be more likely to do it.
He's got the better mustache.
He does. And he also, he's the only one with a mustache.
That's true.
He's also got the better hair. He also kind of looks like Baba Booey from the Howard Stern show.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
Yeah, yes. Just to clue up the podcast, Lacey. I saw a nice clip of Beetlejuice today. And it was like, it cost me $5,000. Why? It cost me $3,000. Why? It cost me $4,000. Why, Beetlejuice? He's like, it cost me $2,000. They're like, why? I'll send that to you, Sam, and you can end the podcast with that.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
$2,000.
Thank you so much for listening. We said 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10,
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for listening to Misfits on Vinyl. Like I said, I'm going to be in Infirmary May 13th. Get your tickets. This is a fun one.
Yeah, it was a good episode today.
Anal contusions.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Misfits on Vinyl, hosted by Spencer Streichert and me, Aaron Walsh, and of course produced by Sam the Tech Man, Sam Lindsay. If you like us, please rate us, subscribe to us, share us. Our socials are Misfits on Vinyl Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. If you want to send us an email with any suggestions or criticisms, we love that shit, so send it away. It's misfitsonvinyl@gmail.com. We love you guys. Thank you.